Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Town of Bladensburg Council meeting, March 10th. Thank you all for joining us. We have a very, very good agenda for this evening. And so let's get started. We're calling the meeting to order. We will go by first of all, we'll have an opening prayer by Councilmember McBride.
Good evening, everyone. Let's kindly bow our heads. Gracious Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for everyone that's been allowed to assemble. We thank you for all of our residents that may be online. God, we ask you to bless us and keep us. Help us to make wise decisions. Let the residents have their part and say also. God, we ask you to help us to work together, work all together lovely. In Jesus' name I pray and I ask these blessings. Amen.
Amen. May we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Councilmember Dixon.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to mention that Mayor James, she has asked to be excused from the town meeting, and I will be presiding over the meeting this evening. Yes, yeah, due to her work situation. So just wanted to make sure, she mentioned that during our work session, but just want to make sure that we announce it now that we have been called to order. Next, the approval of the agenda. Before we approve the agenda, I do have one amendment to make, and that's adding the patriotic report by Ms. Renee Green. So that's one amendment that has been added. So right now, I would like to call for a motion to approve the agenda with the one amendment adding the patriotic committee.
So move.
Moved by Councilmember McBride. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Dixon. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you. Presentations. Next, we're going to have a presentation by Chief Collington from a police department. So swearing in Officer Derek Kennard. Yay!
Good afternoon, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, colleagues, and community. It is an honor and a privilege whenever we are able to present and introduce new staff to our team here at the Bladensburg Police Department in the town of Bladensburg. Tonight I have the distinct honor and pleasure of swearing in one of our newest members to the team, Mr. Kennard, Officer Kennard. Officer Kennard comes to us from prior law enforcement experience from one of our neighboring municipalities. I see his wife and his family are joining us this evening. Also, we have the privilege of bringing on a new code enforcement officer, Mr. Kelly Osuji. So at this time, I will have Officer Kennard come to the front, and if I can have Mayor Pro Tem Brown come down and install him with the oath of office.
Good evening. Raise your hand and repeat after me. I, Derek Kennard, having been duly appointed as a police officer, effective February 28th, 2025, February 28th, 2025, for the town of Bladensburg, do solemnly affirm that I will bear true allegiance to the United States of America, the state of Maryland, and the town of Bladensburg, that I will support the charter and laws of Prince George's County and the town of Bladensburg, and that I will obey the orders of the governor
and that I will obey the orders of the governor
and the officers appointed over me
and the officers appointed over me
according to the rules
according to the rules
and regulations
and regulations
of the town of Bladensburg Police Department.
of the town of Bladensburg Police Department.
I will,
I will,
to the best of my skill,
to the best of my skill,
judgment, and ability,
judgment, and ability,
with diligence and faith,
with diligence and faith,
and without partiality or prejudice,
and without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of police officer
execute the office of police officer
for the town of Bladensburg, Maryland.
for the town of Bladensburg, Maryland.
Congratulations.
If I can have the command staff come down and assist me with pinning. Okay, thank you. Take photo.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we want to next bring up Mr. Kelly Osuji, and I'm going to ask his supervisor, Mr. Sean Ronhart, to join us. So we went about 7 months without having without being fully staffed in our code enforcement division. Mr. Kelly Osuji was currently working with our public works team, and he expressed an interest in joining the code compliance department. And we were pleased to hire him after rigorous background investigation. He passed and he did his oral interview, and he rose to the top out of several other candidates that applied for this position. And we're honored tonight to present him to the council and to the community, Mr. Kelly Osuji. Have any complaints, this is the guy you want to call. So we have refreshments. We'll be releasing these two gentlemen and the family. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for coming out tonight. Over in the annex, we have refreshments, and you can take photos over there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much for that. And we'll also make the amendment to the agenda that we added, Mr. Kelly Osuji as well, okay? Thank you. All right, next we have up our Patriotic Committee report from Ms. Renee Green. Hey. All right.
Good evening, Council Member Brown, council members, town staff, and the town of Bladensburg. I'm Renee Green, the Patriotic Coordinator, and just a couple items this evening. As we know, the Peace Cross will be turning 100 this year in July, and we will be having a ceremony. We're not sure exact date, but it'll be either July 13th or the 14th at 11 o'clock. So stay tuned for that, more information on that. If you want to be part of the planning committee, please contact the town and ask for Ray. We're looking for members to help us out on planning for that incredible event. And then Memorial Day is going to be Monday, May 26th at 11 o'clock. And we will also be dedicating the new Pearl Harbor Memorial. Once again, we're so proud of the Boy Scout Ethan Mendoza for the Eagle Scout project. He really has worked so hard on this for a couple years now, and has redone, yes. He took on a huge endeavor, and this just shows what a great young man he is and he's going to be. So please join us on that day for that rededication to the Pearl Harbor Memorial. Just this last Monday, me and my film crew have started a documentary on the Boswick House. So, yeah. And we interviewed University of Maryland professor Don Lawnbaugh. Okay. And the last thing is, a lot of people don't realize that I do film work, and I have almost completed, will have completed a film script about the Peace Cross, about defending the Peace Cross in the legal battle. So stay tuned for that. And that's, does anyone have any questions or anything else?
Any questions from the council?
No, just thank you for always providing.
You're not, your mic.
Thank you, Madam Pro Mayor. Ms. Renee, thank you so much for always providing such a comprehensive update to us. We appreciate you.
Oh,
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. Next on the agenda, approval of minutes. So I would like to call for the motion to approve our town council minutes for February 10th.
So move.
Moved by Councilmember McBride,
A second.
second by Councilmember Dixon. Let's call for the vote. Any discussions or abstentions? Hearing none. All in the favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. Next, we would need approval of the minutes for the town council closed session minutes, February the 18th. So I call for the motion.
I so move.
Moved by Councilmember Dixon,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember McBride. Let's call for the vote. Any discussions or abstentions? Hearing none. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. Now, next section is a fun section, public comments. All right.
First resident we have is Miss Susan McCutcheon.
Sorry, I'm moving a little slow. I went to a rally on Saturday at NIH and stood too long and walked too long. So, my name is Susan McCutcheon, and I live on Spring Road. And I'm on the maglev issue as usual, and we don't trust Northeast maglev, nor do we trust our elected officials to stay with us opposing it, but we'll do the best we can. But I want to read something I saw in the Washington Post this week. The resistance is happening. After President Donald Trump's diatribe to Congress on Tuesday, Senator Alyssa Slotkin, in her rebuttal, called for the exhausted public not to tune out on politics. Critics and naysayers have been opining that not enough people are on the streets protesting and resisting the actions of Trump, Elon Musk, Vice President J.D. Vance, and the rest of the mega crew. I beg to differ. Times again are changing, and we Americans are heeding the call. Everyday people are forming new organizations and revitalizing their local pockets of resistance, as well as connecting nationwide to formulate a strategy. But effectively pushing back against the Trump administration will require more people to make profound shifts in their attitudes and priorities. Being quiescent armchair observers or offering ineffectual intellectual musings about the loss of democracy is not the same as action. Join an organization, create a group with your friends, show up at rallies or participate in boycotts. Get off your couch or work from it. Make phone calls and write to your elected officials. There are plenty of roles volunteers can play. Choose what suits you best. Each voice matters. We have found the enemy, and it is not only Trump's authoritarianism. It is complacency or fatalistic thinking that saps our energy and leads us into self-defeating silence. This cannot stand. We need to do more than stay tuned in. We need to engage in the fight. This was written by a member of Indivisible Prince George's County. That was my letter to the editor. And I really am urging people to look at what's going on, think about it, and you can't just sit. You have to look and see and get involved to whatever degree you can. A lot of us are working at it. There are people today at a big rally. There are rallies all over the place, and we're very focused on certain things. The one I went to Saturday was NIH to help protect NIH, to stand up for science, kind of a follow-on Fridays across the country. So please do something. Think about it. You are a part of this, and it's going to affect you. If you do nothing, it's going to affect you one way or the other, but at least you know you did the best you could to try to make things better for this country. And thank you. I'm sorry it got so political, but hey, it's my 3 minutes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for that.
Our next resident is Mr. Steve White.
Yeah, I'm Steve White. I live on Tilden Road, and want to thank the town for the presentation about building a new town hall. I've heard that the capacity of this town hall is 100, but it's hard to imagine that many people in here. It gets pretty crowded. And at Christmas time, I think we all agree we need a new town hall. But I have some questions about the parking spaces required for the town hall and offices, and also for the police department. And, you know, how many spaces we need, how much land area, and what will be the seating capacity for the new town hall. And if the new town hall is big enough for the entire police department, I'm wondering if we could use the auxiliary lot over here across the street for parking. But parking's one of the main concerns I see. You know, we just don't have enough parking here. And also, would we have to take the town park down to provide parking? And the TAP study, showed that they could build a new town hall and condominium building with parking over in the Bostwick property, but the site that you presented there shows it's very limited space. And there's a empty lot on 48th Street between the two houses. I was wondering, if there's a chance we might buy that for parking. But, that's some of the questions. Also, I was wondering how much state grant money we have provided for it, when it expires, and also if we have a timeline for the project. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Town Clerk, do we have any more public comments?
I'm sorry. No, that is the end of public comment.
Okay, thank you so very much. That concludes our public comments. Next, we're going to move along to financial business. Yay! So I'm going to hand this over to our town administrator, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth, and Mr. Vito.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. We are going to do a tag team approach on this, so I will let Mr. Tonelli. Do you want to start first, or do you want me to start with the FY26 budget? Okay, I'm going to start with the FY26 budget, and I will be sharing my screen in 2 seconds. Share. Okay, got it up. Sharing. All right, it should be up in a second. All right, here we go. So here is the presentation on the FY26 budget. This is what we wanted to talk about a little bit is the structural issues that we are seeing for FY25 that are affecting us in FY26, some possible cost savings, and a little bit of the updated revenue estimates. So just as a short overview, over the last 2 years with the expiration of ARPA, which were basically COVID funds, the town used about $526,000 in fiscal year 23 and used another in fiscal year 24. We used a small amount in fiscal year 25, but to kind of give you another overview of the ARPA funds, the town distributed over $2 million out to the public between rental and mortgage assistance and with utility and business assistance. The speed camera revenues are running a little bit short. I say that because people are driving better, so there is less speed camera money, which I think is a nice way to look at that. All right, so increases of expenses, compensation and regular pay. Regular pay, overtime, FICA, and pension costs have doubled since 2021. Back in 2021, the town's budget was about $3.3 million, and that has grown to $6.6 million by FY26. We've also seen an increase in our health insurance to about 17% over year, and there's a slide that'll give you a little bit more detail. So this is a slide that shows our payroll and how that has gone up over the last 5 years. And it actually shows you where the health insurance has added on top of those costs. The next one is our health insurance enrollment, which it shows you that back in 22 we had about 100 people, and then that has grown to 185 people with families increasing on that because we've just added more employees, and those employees have dependents. The average cost, as you can see, has increased over the last 4 years. So some of the other expense increases that we've experienced, fuel costs, they've doubled since 2021. We've added more officers and more take-home vehicles to our fleet. And just like as you guys have seen the pain at the pump, we're seeing a little bit of pain at the pump and for the fuel costs. Workers' comp has doubled since 2021, going from $160,000 to $320,000. Again, increase in staff, but that's an overall increase throughout the state that a lot of municipalities have also experienced. Again, we talked about staff additions, the expansion of public safety and public works. We added 2 new people to public works last year, actually in 23 and in 24 we added those because we had the beautification team, which we use as part of ARPA. The consultant costs have increased, actually have quadrupled. And back in 2021, we only had a town attorney. Now we are working with our grant writers who have been very successful and gotten us over $1.5 million in grants. We have a a economic development consultant, Mr. Hawkins. We have a legislative consultant, which is L.A. Perez. And we also are working with an HR consultant. Instead of adding full-time staff, we've added consultants. And right now we have at least 6 people that are now doing the jobs, including the town attorney, that we need on staff, but they're consultants. So we don't have to pay health insurance for them, which is a good thing. The current revenue and cost saving items that we want to just go over quickly. So in our residential taxes, we've seen just from assessed valuations, we've seen a 4% increase, and that has a current tax rate at 7.4, revenues of 3.1 million. We're estimating that if we stay at the constant, if we stay at the 7.74, that would increase the taxes, that would increase the revenues by $120,000. That doesn't change the tax rate, it's just the increase in revenues due to the 4% assessed evaluation. If that same evaluation was to occur on residential and commercial, it moves us from, which increased by 4%, that would move us up another $65,000 because we currently are charging 0.8, correct? Is that apartments? That's instead of residential commercial, that's just apartments, correct? That's just apartments instead of residential commercial. I was like, that's apartments. That's $65,000 compared to last year. We are also seeing a slight increase of 5% in highway user funds. The only warning that I gave in the last time is that back in 2012 and 13, it's that long ago because I worked in local government here that long ago, when we did have another recession, those were pulled back from the municipalities, but the mayor in the previous session mentioned that Governor Moore has pledged to allow for those not to be pulled back. So we are still estimating that 5% increase in highway user fees as a possible amount. And then we also saw that, again, some of the reduced traffic enforcement. So some possible cost savings that we're looking at is a freeze on vacant positions until December 2026, excluding essential positions, limited to no COLA and merit increases, possible changes to some work structure or work hours for administrative positions, public safety and public works would be excluded. Overall reductions in discretionary because it's covered up in my thing, discretionary spending. And then no new capital purchases until December 2026, because that will allow us to see where everything's coming in, that we would not make any new capital purchases or capital leases until that time. So I gave you the current revenue. So what we will do on the March 18th is that we're going to have a in-depth session with the council on the revenues and administrative departments and possible revenue options and cost-cutting options. Throughout the months of April, we'll have Public Works and Police, where we'll go line by line through those budgets with the council. And then the first reading of the budget ordinance is April 14th, 2025. So the next meeting, you have the first reading of the budget ordinance. And then if there's any tax rate changes, those need to happen in either in April, or they could be moved to May. The tax rate hearing again is April 14th or May 12th. And then that's it. And then the final budget could be done as early as April, but it also could be moved to May. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Bailey-Hedgeworth. All right, Mr. Vito. Oh, okay. I thought you said that maybe we have something else. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is new business. So, Resolution 15/2025, appointment of Ethics Commission members for 2025 through 2027. And as you all know, that we've been talking about the Ethics Commission for a few months now, and the town must appoint two new members to the Ethics Commission every 2 years. So our town clerk, she has just really done a tremendous and outstanding job in receiving resumes and taking the candidates through the vetting process. So we're going to have a resolution of the Town Council of Bladensburg appointing members to the Town Ethics Commission for a term of for a 2-year term beginning March 10th, 2025, and ending February 26, 2027. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our town clerk to read the resolution. I'm sorry, is there order?
Yeah, we're gonna need to get a motion from the council. So again, there was 3 recommendations.
Yes.
That the council has to decide on. So there was 5 new applicants for the Ethics Commission. 4 of them I was able to interview, 1 I was not. And so now we have to decide if you want to appoint all 5. The other second option is to do an odd number of appointees, which is you can nominate 3 with 1 alternate. And of course, the third option, don't appoint anybody and start over. So it's up to the council and then the recommendation, I think we all talked about in the work session, was doing possibly a 3, appointing 3.
Appointing 3 and then have a possible alternate.
Discretion.
Yeah. So, what does the council have any comments? What do you prefer?
So, yeah, appoint 3 and have an alternate.
Appoint 3 and have an alternate, okay.
I
Councilmember
agree with point 3
Brigham?
and have an alternate.
Okay, Councilmember Blunt?
Appoint 3 and have an alternate is fine.
Okay, so I would like to call for the motion that we appoint 3 and have an alternate. Yeah, I can name the 3. So, Brandon Newsom, Michael Wildheart, Daryl Davis, and Jackson Marshall will be the alternate. So I'm making a motion to appoint Brandon Newsom, Michael Wildheart, Daryl Davis, and Jackson Marshall will be the alternate. I made the motion. I need someone to.
So we just need one.
Yeah, I need
council needs a
someone to
second.
sit first and second.
First and second.
I so move.
So moved by Councilmember Blunt. Seconded by Councilmember, second by Councilmember McBride. Okay, let's call for the vote. Any discussions or abstentions? Sure, go ahead, Councilmember Dixon.
Can you remind me which one is Marshall? Okay.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. So now,
I'm gonna read the motion.
turn it over to our town clerk for her to read the resolution.
A resolution of the Town Council of Bladensburg appointing members to the Town Ethics Commission for a term beginning March 1st, 2025 and ending, March 1st, 2025 and ending February 28, 2027, whereas the Town of Bladensburg is committed to upholding ethical standards and ensuring transparency and accountability in town governance, and whereas the Town Ethics Commission serves as the body responsible for reviewing and maintaining the ethical conduct and standards for the town staff, officials, and volunteers, and whereas the Ethics Commission reviews annual submissions and reports, offers general ethical guidance, and support the town's commitment to integrity and fairness, and whereas the Town Council recognizes the Commission's importance, appreciates its members' dedication, now therefore be it resolved by the Town Council of Bladensburg that the following individuals are hereby appointed to serve as members of the Town Ethics Commission for a term beginning March 1st, 2025 and ending February 28, 2027. Brandon Newsom, Michael Wildheart, Daryl Davis, with the alternate being Mr. Trey Jackson Marshall. Be it further resolved that the Town Council expresses its gratitude to these appointees for their willingness to serve and contribute to the maintaining the ethical standards of the Town of Bladensburg. Be it further resolved that this resolution be and is hereby adopted on March 10th, 2025, and shall take effect upon its adoption.
Thank you so very much for that. All right, next on the agenda is our legislative session update. I'll turn it over to our town administrator, Mrs. Bailey Hitchcock.
Thank you, Councilwoman Councilwoman Brown. Pardon me, this is a long night. So we had an earlier presentation by Ellie Perez on some of the items in regards to the legislative session. I think two items of note that we wanted to make sure that the council saw were the issues that were the zoning issues, the fairness in zoning, which he talked a little bit about, which is HB 1266. This has come back again twice. It's been referred to committee, but there is no hearing date set. The next one was the other one that we wanted to understand is that there's a House Bill 1043, Voting Rights Act. It strengthens voter protections, but it also has some things in regards to non-citizen voting, removing that issue. The other issue is annexation restrictions, which is HB 1525. Which restricts municipalities. We've been working on that item because of the fact that it can be detrimental to municipalities looking to annex, and in regards to the issues of the legislative district. So we have asked, we have sent in information on that. There's also a Senate Bill 505, which is the Redevelopment Authority and its annexation rights as being a person that's back in there. And then there's Senate Bill, there's another House Bill that he wants you to take another look at as regards to House Bill 990. We talked about that. Mr. Tonelli mentioned that this would not necessarily affect the it would affect the town of Capitol Heights, not the town of Bladensburg. No, it would not affect the town of Capitol Heights. The town of Bladensburg, and from the standpoint that we do have our chief financial officer meets the requirements. The mayor did ask some questions in regards to that affecting other staff members. So that is a summary of Mr. Brown's presentation that was given. So I just wanted to know if there's any other questions.
Thanks, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth. Should we elaborate a little bit on the one on is that one with the finance? Was that the 990?
So that is, yeah, it's 990.
HB 990.
Yeah, I actually read the fiscal note on it, and when you look at the fiscal note, it says that there are actually 3 municipalities that have. Shoot. All right, there are only 3 municipalities. I have to say that I read the fiscal note on it, and there are 3 municipalities that are actually affected by this, and I can tell you the 3 municipalities that they cited, which are Friendsville, the towns of Friendsville, Mountain Lake Park, and Western Point, which currently employ treasurers who MML believes are fully capable of, but would not meet the requirements. And then they got a note from the director of Frostburg who said that he's a CPA, and so this wouldn't affect him. So that's the fiscal note that was attached to it.
Okay.
So there's probably about 5 or 6 other towns, maybe like Eagle Harbor here in Prince
Some of the
George's.
smaller towns.
Very small towns. And then the other issue is that they'd have to hire a accounting firm. I know that when I was working in Capitol Heights, we had an accounting firm along with our treasurer because he did not have a CPA. And he wasn't an experienced treasurer, but he was a bookkeeper. So, and I believe that some towns currently share accounting services as well. But Mr. Tonelli, you're the finance guy. Tell us all about it.
The requirement was like 27 hours. What I just said before. No, just kidding. This bill would require, I think, 27 hours of educational requirements and accounting work, or equivalent experience. It doesn't affect us like the mid-sized municipalities and large municipalities, but the fiscal note cited 3 small municipalities which said it would be an issue, but there are a lot more than those that would respond to the fiscal note. As I said, there's quite a few with populations of less than 300 residents, and it would be overkill for them. And municipalities that small, under $1 million, would not require an annual audit. They can get a review done on their own, but it would be overkill for them. So it would really, it would be a large burden on the smaller municipalities. If you want to look at it as, part of MML, what's best. And again, it would not affect us. So that's about it.
Thank you for that. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay. Councilmember Blunt? I just can't see you. Okay. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, Pepco street lighting update from our town administrator, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth.
So Mayor and Council, I just want to give a brief update on this. At one point, the town was supposed to get a $25,000 refund from Pepco in regards to traffic lights that are located on state right-of-way. The state has now decided that these lights do not belong to them. They belong because there's no MOU with the individual municipalities. Bladensburg is not the only municipality that's been affected. Several municipalities, even College Park, is affected on US 1, which is a very big state road. From that standpoint, that's very highly traveled, that they're not going to pay for the lights on that one either. So what we are going to do is we're going to follow up with, in some ways, legal action and with both the state of Maryland, the state of Maryland SHA, and with Pepco. And we just wanted to give you a quick update on that issue and the possible need to purchase the the street lights long term. But those will be coming back to you.
And one of the questions asked in terms of the cost savings to the town if we own our own.
Yes, Councilwoman Brown. So we asked for the cost of the difference between the purchase of the poles and and purchasing the light fixtures from Pepco, so that we can have that comparison for you as part of the purchase price, so that you'll have both to look at.
Thank you for that. Next, FY 2025 Community Grant Process Update. This is out to you, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth.
Yeah, no problem. So the community grant process is now out again, and I know that I heard from council from the standpoint of possibly elongating the process. What we've done is tried to we put together a new application that's a little bit shorter and has less of the duplication of questions than we did before. What we'd like to do is be able to put that out and then administratively allow a longer length of time than the proposed April 30th date. What my proposal is that we would accept things up until May 15th, bring you items that come in before April 30th as a preferred date, and then allow people to, because if we get things before April 30th, we'll put it on your agenda in May. If we get things in May, we'll put it on your agenda in June. But we'll have the overall process end a little bit at the May 15th date, but some people just turn these around really fast, and we can bring them to you.
Okay. Just want to ask the council, do you all think we need to extend it to May 15th? Because that's some of the discussion that we were having during the work session.
15 is good.
You think May 15th is give a little bit more time?
Yeah.
Since we're changing the application process? Okay, Councilmember McBride?
Yes.
Councilmember Black?
She had to leave, so she's no longer online.
And I do recall the mayor saying that at the will of the council.
That's fine.
So, okay, so do we need to make a motion and vote on it, or?
No, this is an administrative process. We
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that everything else was okay, so we can make that change. And then you don't want to see anything then in May if we get back applications in May. You just want to wait until June to do all of them.
Okay. All right, Councilmember Dixon?
Thank you, Madam Pro Mayor. Michelle, can you just remind the residents where to go to get the application completed, please?
Sure, We are waiting to put it online, and we will also put it in the town newsletter. So it'll be available both in the newsletter with a place where you can get the application, and then also on our website. But those will go after this. Now it'll go out tomorrow or in this week's newsletter for people. So you'll start to see the new application process.
Thank you for that. All right, next on the agenda, Town Scholarship 2025, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth.
Mayor Council, this is our annual town scholarship that we have. I'd like to thank Ray Jeffries for putting together the images for this. It's a $1,000 scholarship to 5 Bladensburg residents. You must be a Bladensburg resident. You must have a 2.5, and you must be planning to attend a vocational or junior college or college in 2025-26. And so those are the basic things, and we will be getting this out to the local high schools, and we'll also have it in our newsletter. And there's actually a QR code for people to enter this online. So we have a paper and we have an online application for students. We figure an online application that you can do on your phone is a lot easier.
And the eligibility requirements.
Yes, ma'am. I mentioned again that you need a 2.5 to be a Bladensburg resident and be planning to attend a university or junior college or vocational school by 2025-26.
Thank you. Councilmember Dixon, you have a question?
I do have a question for you, Michelle. Is there a limit for the applicants?
There are
the capacity.
There are 5 scholarships for $1,000 apiece.
And that's each budget year?
That is in part of the FY25 budget. Yes.
Yeah. Now, but that will be for each budget year, right?
No.
Going forward.
This is just a one-time $1,000 scholarship for this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make that clear. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, Bostwick House update. Turn it over to our town administrator, Mrs. Bailey Hedgepeth.
Actually, this is going to Ms. Watson.
All right. Ms. Watson.
Give our TA a little break.
Okay.
So again, we're going to have an event on May 3rd for the Discover Bostwick event. It's to provide an educational interactive experience for our community. They're going to be able to explore the Bostwick House, we're going to be able to gather feedback about the property and ways to utilize it in the future. The event will engage the public through various activities. We're going to have different things for the children, like the Arts and Roll van will be there, a Get Fit Mobile will be there, Sankofa. This is a partnership between the town, MNCPPC, and the University of Maryland. It will be from 12 to 3 p.m., so we're looking forward to having all our residents come out there and just to get to know Bostwick House. There'll be food trucks available, activities for the kids, music, and just a great day of fun at the Bostwick House.
Thank you, Ms. Watson. Yes, so everyone come out Saturday, May 3rd from 12 to 3, Bostwick House. It's going to be a joyous time. You have any comments from the council?
No.
Councilwoman McCray?
Yes, thank you. So this will involve the exterior of the Bostwick House?
Yes. Only exterior of the Bostwick House, only the ground, so there will be nobody going inside the building. No tours inside the building, for now.
For now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Any more questions? All right, next, mosquito control program, Prince George's County. All right, Sean, Mr. Sean, code enforcement.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is basically to renew the mosquito program that we currently have with the Maryland Department of Agriculture. Mosquito spraying should start sometime in March and go through October. There will be a once a week spraying once we have that day of the week set in place. We will notify our resident, and there is a way for residents to opt out if they're not interested in the program.
Thank you for that. And also, this will not be conducted if it is raining, if winds exceed 10 miles per hour, or if the temperature is above 90 degrees. Thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. Appreciate that. Town hall updates. Turn it over to Mrs. Bailey Hitchpath.
Hello, Mayor, Council. Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. So I wanted to just do a quick overview of the presentation. I will make this super quick. I don't want to share it, but I think that Mr. Weiss asked a couple questions, which I think I can answer. And I think I've also sent him an email, but I want to show it to him so that we can be quick. I can't find it really quick. All right, so let me answer. Yeah, can you pull it up? Thank you. So the town has engaged with Neighborhood Design Center to do this initial study, which is, this is the needs assessment. It's not the actual, there are 3 more phases. This is the part 1, which is the needs assessment. Next will be a program assessment, which will take the size of the building, the rooms of the building, and we will have more in depth with council and the police department so that we will actually know how many parking spaces, how large the rooms will be, and like the chambers, some of the questions he's asking will be in the next section. So this existing conditions report provides the initial information. What we did look at, though, are 2 of the existing town hall site and the Bostwick site, just to see the initial fit. It is not to say that this is how they will sit, how the building will sit on the site, nor will it say how much parking is in this initial one. So I wanted to make sure that everybody knew that's what this particular one is. The next 2 phases of this will start to come throughout the summer, so you will actually see the next phase. But to show you in some ways what our existing needs are, it's about 28,000 square feet, which we've estimated. Can you stop at that one with the bubble chart, the 3 bubbles? That one. So this is the, so we're estimating that there would be about 3,500 square feet in community, 2,900 square foot in council chambers and council office space, about 4,100 in town administration, and the police department would need about 17,000. All these are going to be vetted, but this is our initial, how we get to the 28,000 square feet. As part of that, we looked at the overall town hall site, which has a 7,000 square foot building, which is what this is showing. You can keep on scrolling down. The program at 28,000 square feet, if it was just a single story, would look like this. This is just a box. It's not the way it's going to do, but they just wanted to show us for scale. The next page, if you scroll down, shows you if it's a 2-story building, how much of the site it takes up. Mr. Weiss, you are correct that in some ways this would start to leak over to the park site. What we would do is we'd look for an alternate place for the park, which would probably trying to, I don't want to say the place because then the place becomes more expensive that I'm looking at, but yes, we are looking at a site for the park because we may need to use the parking, and I mean, it may use the park as parking, but there is a commitment to have a park that is adjacent or close to the site. So that's why I just wanted to answer that question. This is the programming which we're scrolling to, which is for the Bostwick site. This is the full 28,000 square feet, 1 story. The second slide is with a second floor. I know that when it was presented to us, that there is a that we could fit more buildings on the site by NDC. I think they were looking at maybe a 3-story building versus a 2-story. It gets more expensive as you go up. We're probably going to look no larger than a 3-story, but a 2-story, probably a 2-story building. So this site might not be compatible. This is the possible uses, which is also attached, but I just wanted to kind of give the council a couple more minutes of it, and that's it. So if there's any questions, I can answer them, but I wanted to answer some of the questions that were brought up. Oh, the town received $800,000 in bond bill money over the years of 2023 and 2022 and 2023. We have about 7 years to use that. This study cost $77,000, so we will be submitting this study as one of our first expenses.
Thank you so much for that. Any questions from the council? No, none at this time? All right, well, we're just moving right along. We're at the point of staff reports. Yay. Treasurer report. You're up, Mr. Vito.
Give me 1 second to share this. Okay, so this is through I chopped this up a little bit so it can show better on the screen. It comes up, there we are. So this is through 2/3 of the fiscal year through February, and these first 3 columns here are our February year-to-date actuals, budget, and budget variance. I'm just going to touch on a couple of these really quick. Most of the property tax revenues have been received. Business personal property tax and income tax, we'll see the next tranches of them coming when the March and April and June following deadlines come up for those. The federal funding for ARPA, we reduced this budget and we deferred $500,000 for the flood project. So that's why it's only 7% there. The state, county, and federal funding, that includes the bond bill money, and that's why it's such a low percentage there, because that includes $1.2 million of projected bond bill money to be received, which we haven't exercised fully yet. Automated traffic enforcement, as Michelle stated earlier, we're seeing better driving habits, which unfortunately has affected our budget. So we're at 19% of the total annual budget right now, but also built in there is the red light cameras, which are supposed to be online very soon. There's also revenues in there that have not yet been realized yet, and we knew that going into the budget year it was going to happen later in the budget year. And the other revenues, that includes, we're still doing very well on interest income. Is still surpassing what we expected, and we also received some insurance reimbursements and actually insurance dividends as well, so from our carriers. So the goal here, as put this over here, it should be like 67%, and you can see how these variances compare here. And over on the far right column, I just tossed this in here. This is performance as compared to last year. You can see that our property tax revenues have increased, and that's because of assessment increases, and also we separated out the apartment class. A couple other things are just down, and that is just really a timing difference. And you can see the speed cameras dropped off since last year, and we're just about 10% under where we were this time last fiscal year. So expenses, I want to jump to that really quick. My time will go off. Okay, so expenses, we're actually doing okay on expenses. Most departments are in line. The only departments that are over are the mayor and council, because their second largest line item is community events, and the majority of those community events have already happened, and that's budget for the whole fiscal year. And public works is over budget because of the repairs that are going on to the building right now, and they are in a temporary structure and have temporary power going to it, but once the building is repaired, we will get reimbursed for those expenses through our insurance carrier.
Is there a timeline for that? For those repairs?
I'll let you talk about it.
I knew that was going to be the question, right?
So we actually started the permit was issued in the last 2 to 3 weeks. So it looks like it should not take more than a month. So by the end of April, it should be fully repaired. Miss Watson actually picked out the brick because I did not want any part of this, because I'm tired of doing the public works building stuff. So we've picked the brick. It should be repaired soon, and they should be moving back in. So that's what we've heard from the contractor.
To be back structurally sound.
Yeah.
All right, next, public safety. All right, Chief. I'm sorry. One second, please, Councilmember Dixon. She has a question for Mr. Vito.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Vito. It's not really a question, but you mentioned in your report that we're doing pretty okay. Do you want to be more transparent, just in case the residents watching and saying, what do you mean that you're doing okay? Or are you running short, or can you just?
We are behind budget on revenues. Expenses are in line overall, just the revenues are falling behind right now. And we are 2/3 into the fiscal year. A lot can happen, in the next 4 months. But by this point in the fiscal year, you have a pretty good track record, I should say. So it's something we're keeping an eye on, especially as we budget for the next fiscal year and any actions we need to do between now and the end of June.
Thank you, Mr. Vita.
Yeah.
And Mr. Vito, is that partially due to opera? Funds, does opera have any impact?
Well, we had the ARPA funding for last fiscal year. It was funding the salaries. It was funding some operational needs. And this year, we spent a lot last year for the rental program. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I went blank there for a second. But and we had ARPA funds left, but we went ahead and we're deferring those until next year for the flood project. So, I mean, those funds are available. If the flood project doesn't happen, they can be reallocated. But it all depends, how far along that goes and, what happens with it.
Okay.
But we need to make a decision about it by the end of this fiscal year if we are going to keep those funds deferred or if we're going to go back and use those funds for previous expenses to take the pressure off any shortfalls this year.
Okay, thank you. All right, public safety, Chief Collington.
All right, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, community, and colleagues. The month of February it's been a busy month for us, but I will reserve my time because Vito went over. So my complete report is online. So I just want to take a minute to recognize March is recognized as our Women's History Month, and I just want to take this time to thank and express my deep gratitude to the hard work that our town of Bladensburg women on the council and our town staff as well as our police staff, the contributions that they make every day throughout the year, not just the month of March, but this is just the month that we do recognize all your efforts. And I just want to say, as chief and a member of this team, how much I appreciate the hard work that our women do serving on the front lines and those that serve behind the scenes as well as our elected officials. All right. So we had a total of 857 calls that we responded to this month. And I know sometimes people wonder, what does that mean? That means that all of these calls are computer generated. So when we get the calls for service, the dispatch put the calls in. I'm able to download those calls for service throughout the month, and that's just a testament. What is it?
Okay.
Oh, okay. I claim my time back. So this is just a testament to the hard work that our men and women do every day for the Bladensburg team, that we do for our community to keep our residents safe. And I yield my time there. My complete report is online.
Thanks,
Any
Chief.
questions?
Thank you for that. All right, next we're going to have code enforcement, Mr. Reinhardt.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. My report's going to be very brief. Again, it's hard to follow Chief. I think I should go first sometimes because he gives all the good information out. And no, I have it right here. First off, I want to say, thank you for allowing us to get Mr. Kelly on board, because he's going to be a great help. And the reason I say that, one of the first days he was working here, he actually received a phone call for a bat in a residence, and he went up and helped the senior resident remove the bat from the house. So it on the job training comes very fast. Something things are going to be happening the next over few months and few weeks is I am one of the 4 CPR AED instructors here. So we're going to be conducting classes for all staff members to do CPR and get them certified and up to date to help with our community. So once we have some dates available, if the mayor and council are interested in that, we can give you a date and we can work with you. It's usually about a 4 to 6 hour class, just depending on the amount of people that are in the class. Other than that, my report is online with the chief's report. If there's anything we could do, please let us know. And Chief, I'm gonna yield back to Chief Collinson.
I'm sorry, I would be remiss if I did not mention that the heroic effort of Officer Colton Burnett. I'm not sure if you all saw the video. He was on his way on February the 20th. He was on his way to lunch, and he rode up on a 2-car accident with 1 car in flames. And he immediately put his health, put his life at risk, and extracted the gentleman from the car. And when I walked out earlier, that was the victim of the burning car's father outside, who wanted to personally come and meet Officer Burnett.
Wow.
So he wanted to express his son. His son did sustain some serious injuries from that accident, and he's undergone multiple surgeries to repair his body, put it back together. But his father and his mother was on the phone, FaceTime, and she just broke down in tears to just think that she could have lost her son had it not been for Officer Burnett placing his safety at risk to save him.
Wow, wow. Yeah, thank you for that, Chief. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, because because as I say, the police officers, I mean, you all are protecting and serving, and you all are running to the situation, what, even if it's an accident or whatever it is, and willing to help and to help others. So, I just applaud him and all of our officers, and as I will always say, we live here in Bladensburg, so we feel protected by our Bladensburg police officers. So thank you all, yes, so very much for what you do. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, the town clerk. Next.
Promise I'll be quick. Mayor, Council, thank you. Quickly, in the department, we're working on a few RFPs that should be coming back soon this month, and that brought to the council soon. A couple of grants that we're working on, and then just a quick little update. I know that Ray would love for me to say. Of course, we have the Boswick House event. We have the Portstown Green event coming up April 26th. And then he also put in that he wanted to congratulate the Elizabeth Seton High School for celebrating 65th anniversary. So I wanted to do that on behalf of him. And on February 26th, I attended the COG Chief Procurement Officer Committee meeting. And I just want to thank Michelle for letting me train in a lot of these different things. I'm learning a lot about procurement. We were able to get on the EMMA, State of Maryland's procurement website now, so we're able to put all of our RFPs online, and we are getting back so many inquiries and bids and vendors, so we have expanded our procurement, and so that's a great thing. And I'm learning a lot going to these meetings and being part of these conferences. I actually have another meeting tomorrow, but here about procurement, so I'm excited about that. And yeah, that's all I have. Everything else in my report is online.
Okay, thank you so very much. Public Works.
Mr. Hall isn't feeling well today, so I told him to not come into this meeting, but he did submit his report, and that is online for you.
All right, thank you so very much. And your report?
My report is also submitted electronically, so I will yield my time to the council.
All right, thank you so very much. Next, the mayor and council reports. Councilmember McBride, Ward 2.
Good evening. A small report. Councilmember McBride did attend the COG committee online meeting. I learned a lot, even regarding the new situation with the bird flu and how that's going. I've got some other extended study that I need to do on that. I would like to thank the chief and the mayor for allowing me to attend a session where the police department got an award from State's Attorney Aisha Brayboy. And that's right now is my report. And I would also additionally like to welcome, say a happy birthday to Senator Malcolm Augustine. Today is his birthday. Thank you all.
Councilmember Dixon.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, staff. Good evening, Chief. Good evening, Council, and also good evening to our residents. My report's going to be real short as well. First, I want to say I want to extend my condolences to Councilmember Brown. She lost her brother. I want to extend my condolences to you and my prayers with you and your family. I attended Miss Coletta Lundy. Her husband passed away. I attended his funeral as well. District 47 leaders meeting in Annapolis, the COG meeting, PGCMA, CBCP webinar, and Martin Luther King Day, of course. Also, I want to say congratulations to our ethics committee, newly members. Congratulations. And a happy birthday to Senator Malcolm Augustine.
Thank you for that, Councilmember Dixon. Well, once again, good evening, Mayor, Council, residents, and staff. I'm going to be really quick. First of all, the Brown family definitely extends our gratitude for your kind words and your thoughts during my bereavement time for my brother. He was 57, all of a sudden. And so I just, say to you all, just make sure that you, go to the doctor and get your health, your heart, get checked out. They said he had blood on the brain, bleeding, and inoperable. So, but yeah, so 57, and so that's make sure that you get yourself checked out. Yeah, he fell out at work. But I would like to thank the town for the flowers that you all sent. And like I said, all of your kind words and well wishes to me and my family. I want to say Happy Women's History Month as well. And to all the women here in the town of Bladensburg and family and friends. But to you all, just thank you for doing such a wonderful job in this town here. And I enjoy working with you all. So definitely Happy Women's History Month. And I want to congratulate Officer Derek Kennard again. Congratulations, yes, to Officer Kennard. And then also to Code Enforcement Kelly Osuju. Congratulations and for moving up. I'm glad to see that, we promote internally. That's always good, and that's good for camaraderie as well. I attended a host of some meetings, the 47th Leaders Meeting, MLK Day, and some other things. But that's pretty much wrapping up my report. And thank you all so very much for coming out. Thank you, and congratulations to the Ethics Commission as well. To everyone. So that right there concludes my report. And then I guess with that, I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. If there are no any other questions from the council. Moved by Councilmember Dixon. Second by Councilmember McBride. Let's call for the vote. Any discussions or abstentions? Being none. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned. Oh, and one other thing, I want to remind people to vote. Remember, we just had the election, that's the special primary, and then we have the general election that's coming up in June. So you have to come back out one more time, and then we get to do it again, all over again next year. All right, good night.